not thinking that this was gonna happen. Hi and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Mathilde, I'm a French beginner knitter, and if you're not new here, thank you so much for coming back. If you're not subscribed already, please do. I upload every 2 weeks knitting podcast videos, sometimes knitting vlogs, and some pattern roundup videos from time to time as well. Today this is a knitting podcast, so I'm gonna go through my finished objects, my current whips, and also some finished objects, and at the end we'll also announce the giveaway winners to the giveaway that I ran in my last knitting podcast to thank you all for 1,000 subscribers here on YouTube. These are the prizes that you could win, and I'm gonna talk more about that at the end of the video. So maybe before we begin we should talk about the elephant in the room, which is this beauty. I've just been to the physiotherapist because my wrist has been hurting for a month. I've talked about this in my last video, but yeah, I've just got some tendonitis, which has been going for a while, so I won't have that much progress to show you today, so this might be a shorter video than usual, but I didn't want to go too long without filming a podcast because I wanted to announce the winners. So yeah, this might be a bit shorter than usual, but I do still have some finished objects to show you and some progress on my whips, so I think it's still worthwhile. That being said, just before we get into it, I'm not sure when the next knitting podcast will be, just because I'm not sure how long this is going to go on for. I'm going back to the physiotherapist twice next week, so hopefully this will mean that I'm getting better. I've not been able to knit at all for the last 2 weeks, and towards the 3 weeks ago I did knit a tiny bit, but probably shouldn't have, and so in that whole month I've knit maybe 5-6 hours, something like that. So I'm definitely missing knitting. I am dreaming about full knits, so I think that might be the next video that I film and upload, but yeah, I can't really knit. Anyways, let's talk about the first finished object, shall we? The first one I've got is the test knit that I did for Sari Nordlund, which was the Antoinette Camisole, which is this beautiful camisole which features these little bows. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't very neat with them, not because I didn't want to be, but because I wasn't sure how to make it look perfect. There is a drawing on the pattern that shows you how to do it, but I did my best. These are made using I-cord, so you do the I-cord for the straps, which you attach to the camisole, and then you do I-cords on their own for the bows, and then you kind of fold them and pin them in place with your yarn, or at least that's what I did. You start this by knitting the 2 first triangles and the back panel, which you then join in the round, and then you just knit, and this features a folded hem. I knit this using a hand-dyed yarn from Petits Parisiens. I don't have the skein with me, I just used one skein, and I did have a second one, but I was so sure that I was going to run out that I wound up the second hank into a skein, but turned out I didn't need it. I think I had maybe 12 grams left of the first skein, so you could definitely do this up to the 3rd size in a single hank of hand-dyed yarn. This was 400 meters, I think. But I mean, I did make it a tiny bit shorter, and I think the double folded hem takes quite a bit of yarn, and it's not my favorite, just because I find that it sits quite bulky on my hips when the rest of the camisole is very, light and flowy, and I know that it's one of the methods that you can use in order to avoid, your top curling up, like your yarn curling, but I think one day next year I'm gonna go back, undo the folded hem, and just add maybe a bit more length of just simple stockinette, and then do maybe a regular bind off or an I-cord bind off, something like that. But this was my first time doing a folded hem on a summer top, so I wanted to try it to see whether I would like it or not. I also made the straps a little bit too long. I didn't want the triangles to be too high on my chest, but I measured wrong, and obviously I-cord straps like this, they tend to stretch out with wear, and so the first time I wore it, I realized that they were really too long. So again, I'm not gonna do that now, just because mostly because of my wrist, but I think next year I'll go back and fix the straps for them to be a bit shorter. I'm not sure how I'm gonna be able to do that, because I think I picked up for the straps on the front triangles and then knit them and then attach them to the back. So I might have to undo the bows as well in order to shorten the straps. I'm not sure, we'll see. But I'm still really happy with it. I'm really happy with the yarn. I love the texture of it. I apologize, by the way, for the folding thing. I should have maybe steamed this before I showed it to you. But yeah, and I wore it once because mostly the straps are a bit too long, so I feel like I'm showing a bit too much chest. And because when I finished this, that's about the time that I got this, so I couldn't fix this. I mean, I don't think it would take too much of wrist power for me to undo and just shorten the straps, but I don't want to risk it. So we'll see when I do that. Overall, it was a lovely project, very quick. I mean, granted, I did have to go up to a 4mm needle to reach gauge. I'm a very tight knitter. I think Sari is quite a loose knitter, and I think the original pattern is in 3mm needles. So obviously, if you're using the correct needle size, it might take a bit longer for you to make this, but I think I made this in less than a month, and I was knitting on other things as well. This is the Antoinette Camisole, very elegant, very pretty. I mean, I definitely like the pattern, and I would definitely probably make it again without the bows for like a simple summer top that's very quick to make and really easy to follow. The second finished object I've got to show you, I'm gonna show it to you now, but I might cut this from the video because this was a secret test knit that I did back in May, I think, or June even, or I don't know, well, let's say May, and I think the pattern is going to come out soon, so I'm hoping it'll come out before I finish editing this video, so that I can decide if I can keep this into the video or not. I'm not sure. Anyways, this is the cutest little coaster that I made. That is a pattern from ThePetiteKnitter. I don't actually know the name of the pattern either yet, but if this makes it into the video, I will put it either on the screen or in the description box below as always. But this is a coaster that was made out of boucle yarn. I use Gepard Garn Teddy Deer, and it is in the form of a flower. I just made one. I probably could have made another one, but I found that this back then hurted my wrist when I was knitting on it. I think because I stuck to the correct needle size, and so probably should have gone up 1 or 2 sizes in needles, because this was quite tight. It does curl up a bit, but that's just because I blocked it once. I should probably block it again. And in the pattern there's instructions for you to add fabric to the back, so that, you know, maybe it doesn't slide or anything. I didn't do that because I don't really see the point, and I've been using it on my desk for a couple of weeks, a month maybe, and I've not had any issue. The one thing that I would say that makes it a little bit difficult is definitely the boucle yarn. This was my first time using boucle yarn, and sometimes it was tricky to know in which loop I was supposed to do the increases, for example, that you're supposed to make for this. So the construction of this is quite simple. I'm not going to give too much away, hopefully, but you start in the middle and then you increase until you reach each of the petals, and you do them one by one. Oh, and the last thing is, you can probably see that the middle here is rising a little bit. Again, I think that's because I didn't use a needle size up, and she does say that that can happen when you're knitting on it in the pattern, and that it goes away with blocking. I think mine didn't, maybe because I wasn't too strict when I blocked it. So again, I think second blocking will fix this. But yeah, that was my second. Isn't this the cutest thing? I love it. I think I'm definitely gonna make another one sometime soon. Okay, so now let's talk about my longest whip, not counting hibernating whips, which I will probably make a video about those soon, but this is the one that I really wanted to finish before filming this podcast, but obviously I couldn't, and my wrist health is more important than filming a video. So this is the Storm Sweater by ThePetiteKnitter, other way around. I am using Pure Gynt by Sandnes Garn in a ThePetiteKnitter colorway, which is Almond or 2511, I think. Yeah. I had like 15 skeins, I think, and I'm halfway through the second sleeve and I've got 2 full skeins, and I just started this one, and I had this one left from the first sleeve that I thought I would use maybe after this one or something. And so yeah, since last time I think I had finished the body, but I did knit one sleeve. And then I've started the second one, but I'm like, I finished this third pattern and I think I've got 3 more. And that was the one knitting project that really hurt my wrist. So I did the first sleeve on a circular needle, like a short circular, but I think maybe that was the cable was maybe a tiny bit too long for that, and so I don't know, maybe that's how I hurt my wrist. So I've stuck to magic loop for this second sleeve, but still I think it was too late. My wrist was already too painful. If you're not familiar with this pattern, this is a top-down drop shoulder design, which features this all over, just knits and purls different patterns. It's just like 4 patterns that you repeat. This features a folded collar, which I did quite early on, and then just, I don't know, 4 centimeters of ribbing maybe? 5, 6, I don't remember. And I love this detail in the back. So the back is not made with any short rows, I don't think so. I think it's, I don't remember, I think I cast this on in like February, and we're in August. So you can understand why I really wanted to have this done by now, but yeah, almost there. Yeah, it features this, which I love, and I think this was just like, you start here in the back, and then you increase, you do the increases on the sides, and then you pick up the stitches here for the shoulders, knit up to about here, and then do the same thing for the other shoulder, and then you join them under the neckline, and then you join in the round. So this is a pattern that I really love, and I'm excited to have this done. I'm excited to be able to block it and see how the fabric is after blocking, because I'm still a bit unsure of how I feel about this yarn, but I really love the fit of this. I think it's perfect. I think the length is good. I'm hoping it won't grow too much with blocking, but we'll see. Usually it doesn't block too much with me, despite like whatever yarn I'm using. So we'll see, because also I think the sleeve is a good length now. It could be a bit longer, I wouldn't mind, but it shouldn't be too long, so we'll see. So this one should definitely be finished by next podcast, for sure. The next pattern that I can show you, or the next project rather, is my Book Club Cardigan. The Book Club Cardigan Cal finished on August 10th. Thank you so much to everyone who joined in. The group chat is amazing. It's still going strong, so if you want to, embark on a wild knitting group chat, send me a DM on Instagram and you'll be added to the group chat. We chat a lot, so you have to be prepared to receiving quite a few number of messages. But yeah, the group chat is amazing, and even without talking about that, the cal in itself, was really great. It was great to be hosting this with my friends Sarah and Sandra. It's been so lovely. So that being said, I knew from the start that I was going to finish by the end of the cowl, because I'm quite a slow knitter. This is not a project for me, it's a project for a friend, so I knew that I wanted to be knitting on other things at the same time that were for me to keep the motivation going. And also, obviously, with my wrist, I haven't actually been able to knit on this in like 3 weeks, a month. So I would have liked to have finished at least the body by now, but I'm still knitting on the body. So I'll talk maybe a bit about the yarn before I show you the project. This is an ad because this was a sponsored yarn gifted to me by Rerum Natura for the cowl. I used Ulysse and Bérénice from Rerum Natura, both in the colorway Poivre. Ulysse is a sport weight, which is 100% wool, and Bérénice is 55% spare kid mohair, 25% silk and 20% wool. So it makes this very fluffy, squishy yarn that's quite different from other mohairs, but really lovely to work with. So this is the combination, and this is what we've got. I'm knitting size 2 for my friend, who is a bit smaller than me. I would do size 3 for myself, I think. Please ignore the ends that are not yet weaved in. And this is the back panel. So last time I think I was about maybe 5 centimeters down on the body, and I've got like maybe 10 centimeters now, but not that much more. And I have made one mistake, which I didn't figure out until I was like maybe 4 rows down. Let me find it again, because it's actually not that easy to, oh yeah, here it is. Okay, you can see here I've forgotten to do a horseshoe cable on one round, or on one row. I tried to go back and fix it, like to ladder down only those I don't know, 12 stitches, 8 stitches, but I almost lost my stitches and I was too scared, and I asked my friend, do you mind if there's a mistake in your cardigan, because I didn't really want to go back on like 4 whole rounds, because I could have done that, but I couldn't figure out how to ladder back and just fix those when it's a cable. And I know it's probably really simple, but yeah, I just didn't have it in me, I think. And she was like, that's absolutely fine, I don't mind at all. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna continue, and that's what I did. But yeah, so I definitely did like at least all of those rows. But I'm still a long way off this. Yeah. I think I'm almost to the point where I can start doing the pockets, but we'll see when I get around to that. I almost considered doing the sleeve, well, like one sleeve first, because I wanted like a change of pace, but actually I think I did have like a week or 2 off knitting this, because I was focusing on probably the Antoinette Camisole that I wanted to finish for the test knit. And having that break and then going back to it, I was so excited to go back to working on it that I was like, I'm just gonna continue knitting on the body, because that's, you know, I know the pattern now, it's really easy, and it's quite slow going because it's, you know, a fair amount of work, even though it's not that many stitches. And I know that a lot of people in the group chat had trouble with the sizing of the sleeves. Some people went up 2 more sizes than the one that they were making for the sleeves, sometimes even 3 sizes. So I know that I'm gonna have to go up at least 1 or 2 sizes, because I added more rows for the armhole depth to be longer than it was. Or maybe it was because so you're supposed to knit the back panel, you know, up to, let's say, 10 centimeters, and then the front panels you're supposed to knit up until 20 centimeters. It's a bit longer, and then it's not the right numbers, but basically a certain amount of centimeters here, and then the front another amount that's longer than the back, and you're supposed to reach the same row on both the back and the front, so that when you join them in the round under the arms, you can just continue knitting without having to think, oh, I'm in the front, it's a different row on the pattern than the back. But that meant that my back panel was a bit shorter. Like the amount of rows that I need to add to reach the length needed in the front meant that I ended on a different row than the one that I had ended up on in the back, if that makes sense. And so I added like maybe 2 or 3 centimeters, I don't remember, before joining under the arms. So it's a bit longer than what the pattern calls for, so I know that I'm gonna have to go up at least 1 or 2 needles, not needle size, 1 or 2 sizes for the arms, but I think that's good because this is quite a boxy fit, relaxed fit cardigan, but with quite tight sleeves for some reason, and I think it will be a better look if the sleeves are also a bit more oversized, I guess. But I love the fabric of this. This is so lovely, and I cannot wait to be able to work on this again and finish it. I still have a long way to go. I mean, I still have to prep for the pockets and then finish the body up until the ribbing. The ribbing isn't too long, I think it's 3.5 centimeters. But also my friend wants this to be quite a long cardigan. Not long, but this is usually, normally the pattern is quite a cropped fit, and she would like it to reach from the underarms until the end of the ribbing, 35 centimeters. So I think that's longer than the pattern. And then I have to do the button band and both the sleeves. And yeah, I know that that's going to take a while. I might ask my friend if she's okay with me doing a ribbed button band instead of double knitting, because I think that's going to hurt my wrist too much and it's going to take me longer as well. And I've never done a ribbed button band, but I don't think it should be too difficult. So yeah, I'll ask her if she minds if I do that. That way I might be able to finish this a bit sooner than otherwise. Oh yeah, and the pattern also was kindly gifted to me by Sari for the cat. So yeah, I don't have that much more to talk about for this pattern. And the next one that I will show, I don't think I had cast this on before the last podcast, so maybe this is new. I think I had shown you the swatch though. I cast on and I'm almost finished with the back panel, which again, I would have liked to have done like the yoke part before finishing the podcast, or before filming, sorry, this podcast, but again, couldn't. But this is the mixed Rib Cami by Florence Miller. This is one of her latest designs, and this is the back panel, and I'm doing the increases, so I'm almost done with those, and then I can do the pickup for the front shoulders. And this is how you're gonna wear it. It's gonna be quite high. I am knitting size, what size am I knitting? I'm knitting a size up in the pattern, so I think I would usually go for a size 3. I'm doing size 4 because I'm still using the recommended needle size, which is 3mm or US 2.5, but I'm a tight knitter, and so I wasn't sure whether I was going to have the correct ease that I wanted if I used the correct needle size, but also I didn't want to go up a needle size because when I tried that, I found that it was a bit too loose, and even now you can see a little bit that it's a bit gapey, but I think wearing it against my skin it will be fine, hopefully. This is made using Knitting for Olive Cotton Merino in the colorway Thundercloud, which is, as you can tell, this is dark and this is more of a grey, but it's leaning a bit black. So you start with the back panel and then you increase for the armholes, then I think you pick up for both front shoulders, which are quite small. They're like maybe 10 or 12 stitches, and then you go all the way, I mean kind of like this, you go from here, but I think maybe it goes all the way up to here, this one, and then you join the front shoulders together, knit probably about the same length as this, with the armhole increases, and then you join around under the armhole increases, and then you just knit, 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 and knit. And you also have some I-cord edges to do around the neckline and the armholes. It's a lovely design which I'm really excited for, and I would have liked to finish this a bit earlier in the summer, probably sometime in August, but I think I will be done with this, hopefully if I can go back to knitting soon, sometime in September. And lastly, I've been obsessed with jacket number 2 by My Favorite Things Knitwear ever since I saw it. I think it was back in May. I've been dreaming about it. She hinted at it herself, because I had seen testknitters posting their versions. She hinted at it herself, I don't exactly remember when, but she mentioned that she was gonna release it soon, sometime in June, and then she didn't, and then she said sometime in August or like late July. And so I actually wanted to buy the yarn to be ready to cast on the day it was released. You know, not thinking that this was gonna happen. So what I did is that, I'm a bit crazy, I purchased the pattern for sweater number 29, which I do want to make this winter, so it wasn't like a frivolous expense. And I figured that the gauge for the jacket number 2 was going to be the same as sweater number 29, because it's the same cables and it looked like she used the same yarns. So I did a swatch, well, or rather I bought the same quantity for the sweater as I would have needed for the, or like assuming that that's what I was going to need for the jacket for my size. So I splurged. I bought some Jensen yarn and silk mohair by Isaiah. I really wanted to try this yarn. I tried Isaiah silk mohair before and I really enjoyed it, but I've seen ThePetiteKnitter and My Favorite Things Knitwear and so many Danish and Norwegian and, you know, Swedish, do I follow Swedish people? I don't think so, but like Scandinavian knitters using this yarn, and I was like, it is expensive, but I just know that it's going to be a good yarn, you know. And I've mentioned before, I don't mind spending money on yarn if I feel that I'm going to get the best results. I would rather spend a little bit more money but be happy with the result, the project, you know, be able to wear it, be able to like the end result, because I spend so much time knitting on it. Yeah, I would rather spend more money because it's money that I have and it's money that I put aside each month for this hobby. Anyways, so I bought Jensen yarn in the colorway 0. I bought this from Bishibush website because they have some Isaiah yarn, and it was a tiny bit less expensive than buying it on the Isaiah website. It was like maybe 10 or 20 euros less for some reason, maybe because of the shipping, because Bishibush is from France. And these come in 100-gram skeins, but it does mean that I have to dye lots, so I'm hoping it won't matter too much. And then I bought some Isaiah silk mohair in the colorway 6S, I think. 6. This is 75% kid mohair and 25% silk, and the Jensen is 100% pure new wool. Not sure what pure new wool means, but that's what's written here. I bought this one because I had a bit left from my normal sweater from My Favorite Things Knitwear in that color, so I thought if I buy the same one I can use, I had like maybe 15 grams left, which is quite a lot, so that way I could save a little bit of money, and that's what I wanted to pair together. So I made this swatch and I really love the marling effect that I've got. And the one thing that I'm not in love with is my intention when doing the knit or the purl row next to the cables. it's a bit too loose, so I'm hoping that I will be able to get the hang of it soon. But I love this. I love the feeling of it. I love the cables, they look so pretty, and I'm really excited about this. So the pattern was released, I think maybe a week or so when I had the wrist pain, so that was about the time when the wrist pain wasn't so bad, so I had taken up knitting a little bit each day again. And so the day that it was released, it was on Monday, I was so excited, so I cast this on and I did maybe 5 rows, figured out that, I mean, first of all, when I saw that the pattern was the exact same gauge as sweater number 29, I was so happy and so relieved, because I had already made my swatch and so I could just cast it on, right? I did like 5 or 6 rows, found out I had misread something, and so unraveled, did it again, and the pain was excruciating. I stopped knitting, and for the whole evening the pain went from my hand up to my shoulder. So, and that's when it was really bad, and since then I haven't knit on it. Well, maybe a little bit, because you can see this is more than 5 rows. So I've knit like maybe 5 rows like over the last couple of days, but I'm not supposed to, but I really wanted to. Anyways, I've cast on and this is what I've got. So you start, I'm assuming, at the back, and then you do the increases for the back, I think. I haven't read through most of the pattern yet, but yeah, this is what it's looking like. I hope I'm doing the increases right. This doesn't look like much, but I'm really excited about it. And I'm hoping I can go back to it soon. I mean, I love having a cable cardigan on my needles for a friend, but I really wanted to have one for me. So this is what this is. And hopefully this will be like my September focus knit. If I can go back to knitting, which hopefully I can. I think I'm knitting size 3, and I'm definitely using a needle size bigger. I think just one needle size bigger, so instead of 5 it's probably 5.5mm needles. If I'm wrong, I'll put it on the screen because I don't remember. But yeah, so this was one of the purchases that I made this month, and then the second purchase that I made was a Swift, because I had a Swift that was gifted to me by my grandmother, but I mean, I should have kept it, but I've shown it once in a video before. And it was a very old wooden but quite pretty Swift, but it was basically in 2 parts. You had the whole, I don't know what it's called, like the whole part where you put the yarn around, and then you had the base that you can fix to a table or something, and these two were separate and you could put it together, but it was a bit wobbly. And then the part that you could fix on a table, the screw, kind of the wooden screw that you had to fix it to the table, it wouldn't tighten enough for it to stay fixed on the table, so that was loose and wobbly as well. And so the last time that I used it was for the hank for the yarn that I used from Les Petits Parisiens, and it was a nightmare. My boyfriend and I, we spent like 2 hours trying to make sure that the skein wasn't in too bad of a shape, and it wasn't working. So I have quite a lot of hanks in my stash, from hand-dyed yarn up to, you know, this Jensen, and that I knew that I was gonna knit soon. And I'm gonna be honest, I don't really want to use like a chair or something to wind up skeins. I would rather, I mean, I knew I was gonna purchase a Swift eventually. I thought I might as well purchase it now and be able to use it when I need it, right? So that's what I did. I bought the Knit Pro Natural Swift Skein Winder. I've not actually used it yet, but this is what it looks like. It is so pretty, and this is not a wooden screw, so that's gonna be hopefully last longer than what I did have, and yeah, it just looks really pretty. So I'm really happy with that, really excited. I think I'm gonna use it soon to wind up some skeins. If I can go back to knitting, that would be great. Those were two of my purchases this month, which were quite expensive, but very, very worth it. So now let's move on to the last section of this video, which usually is about my next cast-ons, but I don't really want to talk about that when I can't knit anything. But this time we're going to talk about the giveaway winners. So as a reminder, I posted a podcast about a month ago thanking you for 1k subscribers, and I wanted to gift one of you a bag and one of you a sock set from a French hand dyer. This bag is from Mercury Studio, which is a French tiny brand, which is actually from my best friend, and it's this cute project bag with this cute pouch so that you can put all of your knitting essentials in. And this is the shop that you can find on Instagram. So if you don't win this bag, maybe you can go ahead and purchase one from her. And this sock set is from L'Atelier Teinture, who is a French hand dyer, and this is 75% merino extra fine and 25% nylon, and it is Petit Peton Merino 75 in the colorway C2313. So I'm gonna put the winners on the screen now, and I would like for you to reach out to me via email. My email will be in the description box down below. Please send me an email stating your username and what you've won, and I will get back to you and we can chat so that I can send you your prize. And the winner of this sock set is this beautiful person. Thank you so much for participating. And the winner of the project bag is this beautiful person. Thank you so much for participating as well. Thank you everyone for your comments and your questions. If you've not checked that out already, I posted a video about 2 weeks ago, which was a knit and chat, and I answered your questions on the latest knitting podcast or from Instagram. Thank you so much to everyone who participated, and yeah, I think that's it. So as I said, I'm sorry that this was probably a short video, but I don't have that much to show, and I hope that I can go back to knitting quite soon and that I will have more to show in the next podcast. But in the meantime, there will probably be some vlogs and some pattern roundups until I can go back to it. So I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!